Are you here for Pride?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah?
here for him, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. Are you from out of town?
It's
Where are you from?
Central Valley.
Ooh, I hear it's gonna get hot in the Central Valley this coming
It's
week.
hot in the Central
Well,
Valley.
in the summertime, that's probably true. But, must be nice to be in San Francisco for a little bit.
It is.
47%. Okay, well, hopefully we can make this shorter than the other one then.
Well, I'm rolling.
Okay. I think that one's rolling, that one's rolling. This one's the only one that's not rolling.
Jacob. Jacob? I'm David.
That's my
David,
question.
David.
You stole my question.
You can ask again.
I'll ask it again. So what we're doing here today is a thing that we like to call street epistemology. Although we're the idea is that we teach this sort of idea of how to talk to people, to others, and not that they will do it on the street like us with cameras and interviews, but that they'll do it with their friends and family.
Okay.
As sort of a better way of talking than debating people.
Okay.
Instead, just ask like civil questions about a claim that you make that's meaningful to you about the world that we share, if indeed you believe we share a world in the first place.
All right.
And this is something that you believe is true to a confidence level, maybe not 100%, but to the degree that you would believe it was true even if nobody else agreed with you.
Okay.
For your own reasoning, based on your own reasoning. And so what we're going to attempt to do, what I'm going to attempt to do, is explore the path that you took to arrive at that conclusion.
All right.
And examine the reliability of the methods that you used, whether they're a good way to conclude that that is in fact true.
All right.
And it's not based on my analysis of the soundness of your reasoning. It's your own personal. Because if I think it's stupid, you can ignore that and just say, well, maybe you're just stupid. But if you yourself think maybe my reasoning isn't as good as I thought it was, then you might have a chance to reconsider whether your initial confidence level can be sort of upheld by a review of your reasoning.
Yeah.
And so, that is street epistemology in a nutshell, or at least I'll hopefully come up with a shorter way to say that. It's more of a nutshell. But, so what is your first name?
Jacob.
Jacob. And if after the interview you decide you're not happy with it, we don't have to publish it. I'm just learning here.
Okay.
You know? Jacob. Now we do have a can of words here if you're not able to come up with a claim on the spot, but we generally ask people to think of something that sort of shapes how they live their life, that's such that if they found that it wasn't true, it would change how they act moving forward. I could give you an example.
Okay.
Some people believe in feng shui. If they arrange the furniture a certain way, it's propitious or good luck. And if they found out that wasn't true, maybe they'd stop arranging their furniture in that way.
Okay.
Or maybe they ritually cleanse the space with incense, or leave out, certain things for their deceased relatives on the Day of the Dead, or any kind of thing that you believe is true about the world that we share that's meaningful to you, that if you found out that it wasn't true, you'd maybe stop doing certain things.
Okay. Relevant to my major, I believe that most mental disorders, as we classify them, are essentially the act of not necessarily stigmatizing, but creating diagnostic criteria for something that at one point was beneficial. For example, depression or bipolar, schizophrenia, OCD, many of these things at some point in our history were beneficial to us.
So are you saying that they exist for a reason? Sort of like pain? That it's like...
They have stuck around and endured long enough that they serve a functional role at one point or another, and could still today.
Yeah. And so what you're... and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like what you're saying is that the standard interpretation is that this is like a disease or a disorder, when in fact it could have some sort of...
It presents challenges, but it has merit to exist.
For its existence. That's a good way to put it. I like that. Mental disorders can potentially have merit.
Can have benefit.
Or benefits. That's probably a better way to say it. Can potentially benefit. Or aren't necessarily
And a net negative.
a net negative. May not be, as assumed,
Yeah.
a net negative.
Yes. And just maybe that.
As commonly assumed.
Yeah. It would be also kind of a much broader conversation to have just in regards of how we go about treating mental illness.
Right. That would be my next question. Like, what would be the ramifications if your belief is... Because it sounds like your belief is contrary to, like, the standard.
Yeah, but,
And so if it was true, like...
Well, we currently treat mental illness like it's, appendicitis. There is a prescribed regimen or options to go about how you treat that, but ultimately the goal is extinction of symptoms.
Right. Fixing the problem.
Yes.
Without maybe potentially addressing the underlying cause. Yeah, that sounded like...
Not necessarily not just the underlying cause, but...
Or the underlying reasons.
Yeah.
Or the source of it.
Yes.
Or what its purpose is in existing in the first place.
Yes.
Hasn't been resolved.
Yeah.
But you've just gotten rid of the sort of the warning light or the flag
Yes.
that there is a problem that needs to be solved. Okay, and so I'm supposed to sort of establish the definitions of all terms in the claim, but mental disorders, I think you seem to be defining them as the ones that they list in the
DSM.
official list of the DSM, right? So that's like pretty cut and dried. I don't
Very
think that can be misinterpreted because there's an actual
It
list.
changes over
And
time.
for
but
example,
yeah.
they used to have certain things on there,
they still do
which
have-
are not on there today.
They still have ones that are up for great controversy.
And ones that are definitely controversial for sure. So there's a list, and it can be revised. And
Yeah.
you're saying that it probably should be revised for a lot of them. It sounds like.
Yeah, and
Okay.
there's multiple ways to go about talking about that, I feel, but
Huh.
you can ask me some questions, and I think we
Okay.
can go for well.
Now that sounds like a good claim. Next, I am supposed to gauge your degree of confidence in this belief.
Well, I don't have a PhD. I don't even have a master's. I'm hoping to pursue that one day. Some of my opinions have been absorbed from my professors, who
Okay.
are kind of a diversity of these beliefs. But I also think some
So-
of it does come from me.
So typically we ask on a scale of 0 to 100, like 100 being there's no doubt and 0 being I'm all doubt and all questions. You don't have to use a 0 to 100 scale if you don't
70.
like it. 70. Sounds like a good solid number. And the reason we write this down is because the process is basically to review your reasoning, and then after that I will basically ask, after having reviewed your reasoning, do you think that you're still at that level, or you should still be at that level based on your own sort of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, just your own
Self-judgment.
methods, yeah, your self-judgment, your self-assessment of your own quality of your reasons. And so basically my role is just to be a neutral third party to listen to those reasons and sort of reflect them back at you and ask whether you think they're good reasons. So you said you first picked up this idea from some professors?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an idea that you were exposed to
Yes.
and that you didn't figure out about the world on your own, sort of.
Somewhat.
Somewhat. But maybe you had it.
Some of it with regards to certain conditions I picked up about professors. Others I had kind of taken up my own stance on my own.
Okay, so it sounds like a mix.
Yeah.
So, taught beliefs and observations about the world
Yes.
that disagreed with what the official assessment
Yes.
of the world
Yeah.
is. Okay.
And to an extent, something I've been exposed through psychiatry. Some of the presumptions we make about people and about me in the things I've lived with.
And so what tells you that these sort of standard interpretations are wrong? What lets you know that your professors are right? Exactly.
I think
The fact that it changes and that they realize that... I mean, you
Well,
tell me.
I think that it changes might be a good place to start. every generation has had something, some way where they declare one trait of the human, the human pool essentially to be some form of obsolescence, some form of indecency, some form of maladaptation. We are consistently proven wrong, time and time again. We do not, historically, our interpretations of what is valuable have not stood the test of time. Beyond that, what has stood the test of time is indeed these conditions. And I think looking at every mental disorder as a net negative, that puts it on a crash course for extinction. Things that are not adaptive to human survival and functionally to adaptive to reproduction, they don't stick around. A great example I thought of is we look at, say, chronic depression or the predisposition to have depression as a hard negative. However, it's still around. It has been around for all of recorded history. Something that won't be around forever is actually blue eyes. It's a recessive gene that we are all totally okay with. It's actually objectively worse. It makes you more vulnerable to light damage to the retina, but it's normal. We accept it as fine, but it is on the way out. It will, every generation there are less people with blue eyes by no force but nature. It's recessive. It's not adaptive to survival, and it's shrinking as a population. Same with redheads, same with...
I never thought about it, but it makes perfect sense because you have to have two blue-eyed parents, and even then you're not guaranteed to have blue eyes.
Certain hair textures.
Yeah.
Certain keratin structures. Things like this go out all the time, and we don't consider them maladaptive.
So it seems like overall it's because of the history of a repeated failure to recognize that something wasn't in fact a disease but was actually either natural or a useful thing.
At the very least, it is successful enough to maintain its role in the human condition.
And so based on this history, you think that increases that increases the need to re-examine the ones that we think are diseases and try to disconfirm them if at all possible.
Yeah.
Because
or maybe not just how we treat things, but more so our philosophical outlook on what the role of these things and how we should go about treating them. Not just from what is the role of medication, of therapy, of this and that, but more so.
I see what I think what you're saying is that it's not so much about
how we look at people has a massive influence on treatment outcomes. How we think about these conditions has a massive influence on how we treat them as human beings.
So it's more about the understanding.
Yeah.
Understanding that this is a truth would shape how we react to the reality of the situation in a much better way. Yeah. And so that's the important part is the way that it would shape us moving forward, according to what I understand that you're saying. Yeah? Okay, so what, you say you're at 70%. What gives you 30% doubt?
I don't have the answers. None of the professors have all the answers. And there is an undeniable reality that some of these conditions do have consequences. Schizophrenia, for example, is a very difficult condition to live with, both for the person and those around them.
One that pops into my head is pica.
Eating things that are edible.
Like, that can't be...
Not everything has a benefit.
I mean, I don't want to say it can't be, but it seems unlikely to be.
Another way of looking at that, though, is that it is a very useful part of the brain that is acting in a very unuseful way.
So...
we look at anxiety, for example, as like a scourge. But the reality is we all need anxiety, and the role of something like cortisol or glutamate, your excitatory neurotransmitter, they serve the function of getting you away or exciting you, getting you away from things, putting you in a position to get away. So even if we think anxiety itself is a negative, it does not necessarily preclude the treatment we prescribe for it.
See, so yeah, it seems like it's more about the treatment being wrong based on the fact that they need to fix it.
Yeah, and even I think to another extent is...
So basically... I'm sorry, go ahead.
While disorder might not be useful in the way we look at it societally, I think a functional analysis of why disorders exist is great. one theory, for example, of antisocial personality disorder. That's a scary one. That is lack of empathy in most cases, reckless behavior, dangerous behavior, violent behavior. It's what most people would recognize as psychopathy.
Psychopathy, right?
Yeah, or sociopathy.
Oh, sociopathy.
You see it crop up most in households where abusive parents, neglect, violence, insecurity of food. And you think about it, and if you grow up in an environment like that, what is empathy going to get you? If taking things gets you fed when you're 7,
well, that
why would that change in
would have a lot of explanatory power. But it sounds like, since your focus is on the methods of dealing with this situation, that it's not so much important like which specific disorders may or may not be a net benefit, but that even if they don't have a net benefit, we're still treating the wrong way, according to what I understand you're saying. Because
it's like a very diverse field. I mean, psychology and
like, do you think there are any disorders that should be treated the way that they're trying to cure things with, pills and stuff instead of?
Well, our current treatments are not perfect. We don't have. There is no pill. There is no therapy. There is no interventional method that yields even 90% efficacy towards mental illness. We don't. It's unique in that regard. We treat it medically, but if you have diabetes, you take insulin, and for the vast majority of people, that will work. We don't have that for psychiatry, psychology.
Right. Nothing reliable then, huh?
We have things that increase your odds at improvement in certain life areas. We do not have a fix.
Sort of like the drugs that they approve for people who are terminal, that we don't know if they work, but we know that if we don't give it to them, they're going to die, so might as well try something, kind of a deal.
Improves your odds.
Improves your odds.
100% successfully.
But not necessarily reliably. But could potentially improve your odds. Okay, well, so I'm supposed to bring it back to the methods that you used to arrive at this conclusion. And you said it started out as a top belief, but also a little bit of your observations of the world.
I could quickly interject. How long is this expected to take?
Oh, we can wrap it up really quickly here, because we're pretty much.
I just don't want to leave my.
Oh yeah, no, right on, totally. I know you probably have a lot to do, but yeah. So basically, do you think that observations of the world and top beliefs are a good, reliable way to get to a 70% confidence level for not this specific belief, but any belief in general?
Observation of the world is how we come to I think most all conclusions, but
is there any better way to be more certain about the world than those methods?
There's limitations to how certain you can be.
How certain do you think we can be? Like, how high would you ever go on any claim? Like, even your most confident claim.
99.9.
Okay, 99.9 is the highest you'll go on, even the thing that you're very, very confident about.
But there's always more to learn, and I think, for example, I'm studying research methods right now.
Okay.
How do you get to good conclusions? And
well, the
reality is there's limitations to all of them. For example, Here's a great one. We've never done the study that smoking causes cancer. We haven't. Because you can't do that study. You can't make two groups feed one of them cigarettes for 20 years to make the definitive experimental scientific claim that, yes, if you smoke cigarettes, you'll get lung cancer.
I've been exposed to a number of sort of thought experiments of scientific experiments that we just could never do,
We can only correlate it. So there's ethical limitations to experimental. And then when it comes to observational methods, to
science is tricky to do in a reliable way.
No matter which one you pick, there are hard limitations.
Okay, and that's why we can't get to 100%.
No. And there's always room to be wrong. We all make mistakes. Science makes mistakes consistently.
Well, I'm not supposed to pass judgment, but it sounds like you got a pretty good, assessment of the world. If you're not willing to go to 100% on something, you're willing to let new evidence change your mind.
This is the only thing holding us back.
Yeah, it sounds like you go where the evidence points. So if you think that's a good reason to be at a 70% confidence level, then that's what you think. And if you were to ask me after the interview, which I guess we are now, I would probably agree with you that that's probably a pretty reasonable level to be based on that you know.
Yeah.
What do you think, David? Was there any question that I should have asked that I haven't?
Is there anything that you use to get to 70%, or no? Are you 70% on everything using those methods?
There are things I struggle with understanding. I am really bad at certain people skills and certain how do people interact with each other, which is ironic. I'm psych, but
but you use those same
methods
processes
of looking at the evidence to get to 70%.
And you come to different confidence levels.
Do you get to 70%?
Bias. I mean,
if you could understand the evidence, would the evidence always reliably get you to around 70% confidence? 'Cause I think that's what he's saying.
I don't know, and there are some things there's no evidence for, but I would probably still believe.
Is the method sort of a reliable method to get you reliably to 70?
Observational
Yeah.
methods just can kind of combine with the anecdotal experiences you have, I think, for the average person is a great way to get to 70.
All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping, Jacob. I think that was a good talk. Was there any question that you thought I should have asked that I didn't? And then I'll let you go.
I think it was friendly. It was good.
Right on. And is there any question you have for me, since I've been asking you all these questions up until now?
Do you feel maybe a little more considerate of the idea I exposed you to?
Absolutely. I think, my feelings about science are that we need to constantly question all of our beliefs, even the ones, especially the ones that we're most certain about. So if we have a list of disorders, we need to be making that list and checking it twice, because it is so easy to be wrong.
Yeah.
The easiest person to fool, as Richard Feynman said, is yourself. So I think we can leave it at that. Thank you very much,
Pleasure.
Jacob. Have a lovely, and please, check out the video when we get it up. And enjoy Pride.
Thank you.
You can scan the QR
Yeah, you can.
code by the sign there.
I don't have a QR code because my channel's new, but my channel is Intrepid Chimp. He'll probably put it up on his channel, and you can find it.
Oh, okay.
And you can take a picture of my shirt if you want.
Thanks for stopping. Yeah, of course.
Thank you. You made our day.
Yeah.
You really did, because we were trying to get 2 each, and now we have 2 each, so we can go home.
All right. I can give you the one.
So you did it. Oh, I stopped that camera, but this one's still going.
Tell me about that.
I thought that went pretty good. It was like some of the other people that I talked to that had pretty sound reasoning capabilities, and so it was kind of hard to really pick apart, because 70 is actually a pretty good place to be based on where the evidence points, and the fact that he's not willing to go to 100. I think we think pretty much the same. Because that's, I mean, as you know, I only go to 51%, not 70, because I just think that it's so easy to be wrong that as soon as we make a conclusion that something is true, that's when we need to turn around and start attacking it like crazy. Because, if we just accept that it's true and move forward with that, then we may be forging a path on a trail that is going nowhere because it's based on a wrong conclusion. And so we have to constantly recheck the path that we've already tread to make sure that we're on the right path. Because if we keep going forward on the wrong path, it's not going to get us where we want to go. So it's like, forging a trail is great, but you need someone to go back on the trail and make sure that you didn't miss a fork somewhere along the way and make a mistake. Kind of. And that's what disconfirmation to me is. It's looking at the conclusions that we made, which was a fork that we took in the path. This is true and this is not true. It's more like this than like this, but that might be wrong. And so we have to go back and because of all the new evidence that's come out since then, maybe that hasn't been reconsidered based on all the new evidence, and it was just assumed so long ago that it's just sort of a default assumption now, like he says with these mental disorders and stuff. It's like for so long we don't understand it, so we see it as a disease. We don't know that there's an actual reasoning, a cause behind it, you know, and that if we understood the cause, you know, it wouldn't be necessarily a matter of treating the symptoms, but the symptoms would just not exist in the first place, you know, if you were to treat the underlying cause, you know. I don't know.
Do you feel like you have an understanding of why he thinks his reasoning is sufficient?
Yes. I mean, basically, it sounded like he had a pretty good grasp on the scientific method, and that's his method of coming to confidence levels where the evidence points. And I frankly don't know of a better method. A collaborative determination of which way is the evidence pointing. That's really all we have to go on, and we can never know what we don't know. But we can certainly all try to come to an agreement on what the things that we do know seem to be telling us, you know, what they seem to suggest. And so, you know, I think he had pretty good methods and a pretty good number for those methods. So
do you know why he thinks they're good?
Oh, well, I'll see. I didn't ask those questions, so I guess I don't know. But I guess I just, once I figured out that we sort of had the same way of thinking, that I just did. And this is not good to do, but I just probably just assumed that his way of thinking was the way of mine, so I don't need to ask the question, but I do need to ask because it might not be, you know. So that's a good thing to keep in mind in the future, I think.
Yeah, he said something interesting towards the end. I think he said that he's got some beliefs that he would hold even if he had no evidence.
I didn't quite catch that. I wish I had. But it seemed like he had to go, so I wanted to kind of let him go.
And that was good that he reminded you to do a time check.
That's another thing I haven't done at all in my interviews, is checking with people to make sure they're good to keep talking.
That's good practice.
But a lot of them do seem like they definitely aren't finished and have more to say. So I maybe haven't felt the need to do that, but yeah, I definitely need to, especially when they have someone here like that. But we did it.
Sushi.
We did it, didn't we? We totally did it. We nailed it. And not only that, this thing's still recording. Woohoo!
This might be a first.
I think this one died somewhere in the middle, but that's okay. I can reframe this one, and this one got at least part of it. Actually, it had 47%, so I should have gotten almost all of it. And then the hat cam. Oh, it's still recording. Holy crap. Get this. This way. I'm gonna kill it. Just because it's got to be close to dead by now. Looks like there's always someone willing to entertain us, huh?
I kind of like the spot. I don't like the sun, but I like
Yeah,
the
well,
spot.
but maybe like earlier in the day, right? Like,
yeah,
it would be on the other side.
That would make a difference.
Any way you need, that's the way you want. No, because mine doesn't have a bungee, a carabiner on it.
Okay.
That's the battery thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Got it.
None of mine have carabiners on them.
Got it. Cool.
And not all of them came with carabiners, which means that one of those resellers was like stealing carabiners, I think. I don't know. What? Oh, this goes right here. Yeah, I think it went pretty well. I'm more than satisfied with that. I don't know about you. And it's starting to get dimmer, colder, fewer people.
Chillier.
Oh, and I didn't even have to bring out my tripod this time, so packing up's gonna be way easier this time.
Yeah. You can almost just throw your whole thing on your back.
Because like I said when I got here, I practically don't even need the tripod, because the thing acts like a tripod.
Right.
It's nice to get a little bit of spread out, to get more of a spread, you know? But it's not crucial.
Right. Yeah, it's doable.
It's doable without. If you're in a hurry and you don't have time to do a full setup, you know, you just plunk it down, you turn them on, boop. Don't have to pull shit out of your bag. Yeah. Fold out the try to bring the legs down, make them all level.
I am excited about checking that camera angle from where it was. This one, the 360. I'm excited.
Did you move it?
No, but it's here.
Yeah, but and you moved it from previous days.
Yes, it's a new
because of the tripod, and you had the bag before, right? Gotcha.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Well, you know, like that's what's fun about getting out and doing things is because you mix things up and you try different things and then you learn. I do. I got Go 3s that I haven't even tapped yet, so we're on breakdown roll because you know who knows what might happen at any given moment, right? We might have the violinist come by and say.
You're gonna play in Texas.
Remember, bring your fiddle.
Gotta have a fiddle.
Gotta have a fiddle with the band. How's it?
Rising up that bow and something up. You know that one?
Which one?
You gotta play in Texas. You gotta have.
No, I don't actually know that song. I didn't catch your reference when you made it originally.
You are a Louisiana man.
Yeah, but I don't know the song. Not everybody born in Louisiana knows every song about Louisiana.
I only know a couple. I mean, let's see.
I know the devil went down to Georgia.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I don't think they mention Louisiana.
No, I know the devil went down to Georgia though. Kabah.
Oh, you did it backwards.
Uh-oh. Goes in the other way?
No, it doesn't. If you can do it that way, you can do it, but it's usually easier the other way.
Okay. We'll give it a try so I learn how to do it the right way. Arms on the inside, maybe. That. Because once you get through the widest part, the rest just slides, huh?
Right.
Is that it? Is that the idea?
Yep.
Do the hardest part first.
Kind of, yeah. Sometimes that bungee gets. I guess it's not a bungee, but it is a cord gets stuck on the thing.
Oh yeah, this thing. I got it. Oop, I don't got it.
This message has gotten a lot of hits.
Does your reasoning match your confidence?
I mean, for just the people walking by.
Well, that's definitely some knowledge I can pick up from you because you've tried a lot of different signs, so you can help me figure out how to get people to talk to me in the first place.
Still want to try the astrology.
Free readings.
Yeah,
Free epistemology readings, and it helps that no one knows what the fuck epistemology is.
Yeah, that's what starts the combo, right?
You're right. It is easier upside down. Boom. I got it. I believe it's unlocked if you want to roll your bag over there. If not, I think I can unlock it from here. But I think it's unlocked. Because I just put my bag in there and I wouldn't have locked it. So we're standing right here getting ready to go. Oh yeah. Just start rolling over there, I'll catch up to you. Gotcha! That. Boom. Haha! I am strong.
I gotta remember.
I left 2 chairs. Yeah, you left. I forgot to give your water bottle before I left.
Shoes.
But it wasn't
propane,
that hot a day, really.
My lighting bag.
Yeah, we'll empty it all out.
And, yeah.